Alright, update on ApeCoin. So the market is taking a slight pullback to the downside for ApeCoin. Now, in my opinion, I think we are about to enter a short-term bearish trend, and I've talked about this before. We were able to previously call this downtrend on ApeCoin because as soon as we started breaking below the higher lows that we made, that was warning sign number one, but then you started getting rejected from your 4-hourly EMAs, the EMAs flipped bearish, and we entered a downtrend for the good part of a week or two. Yeah, I mean, we didn't really bottom out until 2 weeks or so, so I do think we are gearing up for a move to the downside. We have already moved down pretty harshly. I mean, since the all-time high, depending on what exchange you're using, on the all-time high on Coinbase at least, we've moved down almost 40%. So first of all, congratulations to everyone in the Cowboy family who got in with me on this trade down here between $12 and $13. We took profits all the way up here at $23. We were talking about the 1.618 fib. I personally pulled 25% of all of my profits on ApeCoin up at the $23. Because we pulled profit, we are now able to DCA back into the market at a 29% discount if we do want to. So this is why we take short-term profits. This is why we scatter ourselves. This is why we keep some moon bags in case we go to higher price targets, because when it comes to a level like this, when we've been talking about taking profits here, taking profits here, when we come up and you take your first bit of profit in this region, it becomes a win-win situation, because if we go higher, you get to take more profits, you get to sell more of your bags for higher price targets. That's a win. If we come down and you believe in the projects like we are doing now for ApeCoin, then you get to use your profits that you took here while everyone else was being super euphoric and saying, oh, I'm only going to hodl my ape, I'm only going to sell my ape at $50, and then, you know, they end up capitulating and the price starts to swing to the downside. So look, we're looking at the squeeze bomb right now. The squeeze momentum has flipped very bearish to the downside. We have not seen a bearish flip like this before. We were previously able to see that we were moving to the downside because we had a somewhat, at least at the time, like when we were looking at this back then, this was a significant move to the downside. It was the most significant we've ever had. But as time has gone on, the bearish swings become more significant, and then this data becomes kind of flat and pale in comparison. But, you know, when we were back in this region, you know, everyone was freaking out about this. We were having a downtrend. We're in a clear downtrend right now. So I could imagine we could be setting up for a bounce at some point. If we come over to our 1-hourly EMAs, to be fair, I mean, we recently broke below the previous all-time high, and we came up to the all-time high, we retested it as resistance, confirmed it as resistance rather, and now we're pulling back down. So I do expect lower price targets to be in play for ApeCoin. I personally do plan on DCAing back into the market. We have our daily EMA ribbons coming in at about $16.48. However, convincingly, you've got a 786 Fibonacci down here at $16.30 as well. So there's going to be some decent areas where we could potentially be setting up for a DCA moment. Now, I think I'm going to hold off a tiny bit. I am kind of tempted to DCA in around the levels of $16.30. However, the way the market is looking right now, we have only just started this momentum shift to the downside. There is a lot of selling volume coming in, and in my opinion, this could have been like a buy the rumor, sell the news type event. If you weren't aware, there was the land sale on Ape yesterday. It literally crashed, somewhat crashed Ethereum. I think I saw that the gas fees on ETH went up to as high as $600 to $700 per transaction. I mean, that is literally crazy. On Solana, you could buy like, you know, 20 different NFTs for that amount and still have money left over. On ETH, you know, that's just your gas fee to buy some terrible NFT. But, you know, nonetheless, we move. Ape crashed Ethereum pretty much. Very, very impressive from Ape. So there's a lot of signs that Ape is going to be here in the long term. I'm not saying that Ape is going to go away, it's going to die now. I'm not saying that we've had our all-time high and that's it, Ape is going to come down and crash and die. However, we are clearly entering a downtrend. At least in my opinion, we're clearly entering a downtrend. On the 1 hour time frame, we've already flipped bearish. So even if we do have a move back up to the upside, you could see this short-term moving average and the previous all-time high at $18.20 is going to converge. It's going to be a strong area of resistance. In my opinion, I think we're moving down to lower price targets. So you might be interested to know, where would I start laddering in my buys? I haven't fully convinced myself where I'm going to set up all my buys. However, I do think I'm going to pick up some Ape down here at the 618 Fibonacci, and that lines up with $14.85. So I'll mark this as buyer. I'll type in DCA buy, so I guess you know that I'll be entering the market at this point. I'm not going to enter with all my profits that I took. I think I'll enter with half of them. So for example, you know, like I said, I took 25% of my profits on ApeCoin up here at $23. I'm probably going to use half of that. So I'll use 50% of the profits that I pulled to re-DCA back into the market at $14.90. Now, am I going to use the other 50% profit to re-enter ApeCoin? Maybe if we see a huge momentum shift, but I normally trade these altcoins in order to gain more Bitcoin, because if I'm being honest, I don't necessarily believe in the super long-term longevity of ApeCoin. I could imagine that in the next 10 years time, there's going to be another million DAOs and another million NFT projects that have popped off and have their own coin like ApeCoin. I believe the hype will die out at some point for ApeCoin. However, I don't think that's going to happen in the next year. I always think Bitcoin is here to survive, so I'm going to probably use some of the profits that I pulled at this 1.618 Fibonacci at the $23.72 to re-DCA back into Bitcoin, which I can then use to make future trades. I can then use to hodl. But yeah, like I said, I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to be re-entering all my buys. Like I said, I always say this, the trend is your friend until the end. While we're in a downtrend, there's no point in saying, okay, I'm going to buy at this level, this level, this level, and then that's all my money. I feel like you should expect the worst when we're in a downtrend. The trend is your friend until the end. We've clearly now started putting in, you know, highs, lower highs, lower highs. You've got lows, lower lows, and now we're coming down to make lower lows. We're channeling down to the downside. I'm not going to draw a trend line on it because, you know, we've only just started this. Where we're going to move is, you know, kind of up to the will of the markets, but I do think we're coming down to lower price targets for Ape. So that's all I've got for Ape. If we just reverse out of absolutely nowhere and go up to $30, you know, it's like I said, it's a win-win situation at this point, because when you get in early and then you take profit at much higher price targets, it doesn't matter whether we go down and then you get to DCA back into the market at cheaper prices, or it doesn't matter if we go up and go up to your higher price targets. Because if I'm wrong and we're not entering a downtrend and we were just having a fake out and we have a huge impulse up to $32, do you think I'm going to be upset because I'm going to be pulling another 50% profit up at $32? Absolutely not. I'll be very happy. In fact, I hope I'm wrong and we absolutely reverse out of nowhere, because I would like to pull some more profits at higher price targets for Ape. As of the time of recording this though, it looks like we're having a momentum shift to the downside. If I'm wrong, we could be having strong support at this 786 fib to this short-term moving average on the EMA ribbon. So I do expect some strong support to come in at $16.30, perhaps a dead cat bounce before we do roll over. However, do note that if we do have a solid push below $16.30, like if you're watching this and we've had a solid move below $16.30, in my opinion, we'd be coming right down for $14.80 anyway, so we'd be filling my DCA. Once again, that's a win-win in my opinion. That's all I've got for ApeCoin. I'm definitely going to be sitting on the sidelines in terms of my buys until we do come down to these lower levels. Congratulations once again to the Ape family, or the Cowboy family, who got in on my Ape trades. You know, we've made some decent swing trades on this. We got in initially at $7. We took profit when this trend was going bearish. We pulled some decent profit, and then we basically went down and sideways for a while. We did think lower price targets were going to be in play, but we never got them, so we literally just rebought our ape for the exact same price. So, you know, our first trade we made a huge profit. Our second trade we broke down to the downside, and then we decided to go back to the upside, so we just re-entered the market at a break even. And then this most recent trade that we've got, since we flipped bullish somewhere down here, I mean, we were up a lot when we came up to this $23. So congratulations to everyone. Congratulations to all of you in the Discord who have been talking about Ape day in, day out with me. Yeah, that's all I've got for Ape. Trend is your friend until the end. It looks like we're entering a downtrend, so DCA time it is. That's all I've got for you for Ape. None of this is financial advice, just my opinion on the market. Before we wrap up the video, if you do want to join the Discord, the link will be in the description. We've got over 130 members already talking about time-sensitive information, new altcoin picks, chart setups, and mainly just sharing memes and talking with the community. So I hope to see you over there. As of now, that is all I've got. Cowboy out. Peace.